I have never had more people request a video from me. Never. My DMs have been absolutely flooded. And even though pretty much everybody on the planet, even if they don't have a YouTube channel at this point, have made some kind of content about this situation that took place in a swimming pool, we're going to do it anyway. Welcome to the 2024 Polish Swimming Championships, where we've got some sweet graphics. We do. We've got some sweet graphics. We've got a cool walkout tunnel. And we are about to witness one of the weirdest situations, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, that I have ever seen take place in a swimming pool, at a swimming pool, ever. The only two swimmers we need to worry about in this women's 200 IM final are Mariana in lane number 6 and Alexandra in lane number 7. As we get going here, we get to take one more look at these sweet graphics. I love this. I love the placement of these reaction times. It just makes so much sense to put them there. If you're in production and swimming, Maybe this is a hint. Maybe we should try this out. But the race gets underway and Alexandra takes it out quick with Mariana not far behind her. They're running 1-2 through the 50, which if you're not familiar with swimming, 50 butterfly, 50 backstroke, 50 breaststroke, 50 freestyle. That's a 200 IM. The only other version of an IM in like main competition, like 50 meter Olympic pool competition, is the 400 IM, where you break it up into fourths as well, quarters, 100 fly, 100 back, 100 breast, 100 free. Moving on back to the video. But the race gets underway and they're out pretty much 1-2. Our leaders and our only focuses in this video are 1-2 at the 50. And then Alexandra starts to open up a lead on backstroke, which will become very important pretty soon. It will become very important. Embrace yourselves for what you're about to see at the 100 turn of this 200 IM. And if you've already seen this and you already know what's going to happen, then brace yourself to be able to pretend like you haven't seen what's about to happen. Be like, oh, wow. Maybe comment like, wow, God, unbelievable. Alexandra drops the hammer on backstroke with a 33.6 split, which is very fast, and then does a gainer turn, not a crossover turn, which is where you kind of like do like a side roll flip thing. Maybe I'll put a video up here of someone doing it. You get some options at the 100 turn from backstroke to breaststroke in the 200 IM, and at the 200 turn from backstroke to breaststroke in the 400 IM, where you can do a flip straight backwards like we just saw. You can do this little funky switcheroo, which is called a crossover turn, or you can just touch the wall and then go the other way. That's the one that I went with back in like the 1970s. You just touch the wall and then you go that way. You get like a couple breaths and then you start going. You could even like take a drink of water and then begin the second half of your race. Are you worried that you might accidentally switch lanes in the middle of a 200 IM at Polish Nationals or at another swim meet or something like that? Well, maybe you should consider going to a fitter and faster swim camp, where not only do fitter and faster clinicians that are Olympians, Division I champions, some of the best swimmers in the world, and potentially even this guy right here. You never know when I'm going to show up and race Giles Smith in a 25 butterfly for time to get absolutely crushed. You never know. Well, guess what? They put on swim camps all over the country. Sometimes I am a clinician at those swim camps, and you can learn things like starts, turns, freestyle. I just did a butterfly camp with Giles Smith, who is one of the best butterflyers. Well, he's definitely the best butterflyer I've ever been on a pool deck with. Check the link in the description. Fitter and faster swim camps. They list who is going to be at the swim camp so you can know who is going to be teaching you. Maybe it'll be me. Maybe we'll race. Maybe I'll do a 25 butterfly in a sweatshirt. You never know. Back to the video. Alexandra goes with a gainer backflip turn, and then watch closely. Starts her breaststroke pullout at an angle and just shoots straight over into lane number 6 from lane number 7. Supposed to be in lane number 7. Now we're doing breaststroke in lane number 6 at the Polish National Championship, Swimming Championships of the world. Things are weird now. Things are weird. Alexandra pops up and starts ripping through breaststroke in lane 6, even though she's supposed to be in lane 7, like I just mentioned, while Mariana is just doing her pullout with no idea that she's about to pop up to the most confusing sight that she's probably ever seen before in a swim meet. Another swimmer in her lane, in her race, that she is now like chasing and is going to have to like try to get around. Like, I don't really know what goes through your head when you see that. We saw swimmers walking up to the wrong lane at World Championships quite a few times, and even swimming in the wrong lanes, but never did we see someone switch lanes mid-race, especially at a meet at this level. So now we get 2 swimmers in one lane headed into a turn wall, which this is important. If you've never swam like in club or even like swam competitively at all, or maybe you've swam at a gym or a public pool and done laps, then you might not understand this. You get a couple options when you share a lane with someone. You can circle swim, which is popular for when you have more than 2 swimmers in one lane. You swim down one side and back the other. It's kind of like a road, like a giant road, right side, left side. If you're in Europe, you go down the left and back the right. Similar situation. You're still a circle. Or if you have 2 swimmers, you split it in half. Right side, left side. Right side's mine, left side's yours. Unless you want the left side's yours. Right side's mine, whatever. You get it. Now, in this situation, I don't believe that pre-race, Mariana and Alexandra said, hey, just in case a situation occurs where we end up swimming in the same lane after the 100 split, let's just go ahead and split the lane and then we'll finish, in our respective sides, or maybe we'll just circle swim. I doubt they had that conversation. I think this is something that is being processed in real time by Mariana as she tries to run down Alexandra, who probably has no idea that this is even happening. So now we get to wait and see what happens on this turn when Alexandra turns around and sees that she's got a lane buddy in the championship final of the 200 IM. And Mariana tries to dodge her while she starts ripping freestyle at her. Mariana runs her down a good bit on this 50. We'll never know what her breaststroke split is on this because she doesn't get to hit the touchpad in her own lane. And then we somehow get out of the turn with no one swimming into each other, and we start firing home to finish the race. This shot of these 3 swimmers is great because you have to be wondering what is going through Zofia's head in lane 5. She's breathing towards lane 6 and 6. We just have lane 6 and 6.1 at this point. So she sees this madness occurring. We cruise all the way to the finish where Alexandra touches the pad for Mariana, and then Mariana touches the pad for Mariana, while the backup timer had the important job of stopping the backup watch for the right swimmer and not the wrong swimmer. And now, although in this situation, I think it's a pretty clear-cut decision whether or not Mariana should get a reswim and Alexandra should probably be DQ'd. We're on the wall and reality is setting in for our swimmers. So we get some mixed emotions where Alexandra is shocked and likely a little bit embarrassed. And Mariana is just upset, which I think is totally fair. Unlike when Owen Lloyd touched the wall and leaned over or fell over into the lane of another swimmer that was already done. Not fair that he got DQ'd. Switching into someone else's lane in the middle of a race, fair that you get DQ'd. Now, scooping water out of someone else's lane, like Tatiana Schuenmacher. Her last name is actually Smith now, Tatiana Smith. But she does kind of scoop water out of people's lanes in breaststroke. I've seen it a few times, and I think she's actually come pretty close to kicking someone or like scooping someone. Not sure what the situation is there. Not sure how that even occurs because you're on your stomach swimming breaststroke. It's not like you're flipping backwards from backstroke to breaststroke. You're swimming breaststroke. But that's really it for this one. Yeah. As the saying goes, you have a lane, you have a chance. Unless in the middle of a 200 IM at Polish Nationals, somebody steals that lane from you and then touches the touchpad for you. Then you just got to hope that the backup timer knows which one is the right person to finish the time for. If you have a lane, you have a chance. Unless somebody takes you from you. Goodbye. See you in the next one. Try not to get your lane robbed from you. Goodbye.